In Morocco, a girl committed suicide after she was forced to marry her rapist. A 16-year-old Moroccan girl has committed suicide after a judge ordered her to marry her rapist, according to Moroccan media reports. Last year, Amina's parents filed charges against their daughter's rapist, a man 10 years older than her. But it was only recently that a judge in the northern city of Tangier decided that instead of punishing him, the two must be married. Traumatized by the painful experience of rape, Amina decided to end her life by consuming rat poison in the house of her husband's family, according to the Moroccan daily Al Masai. Yeah, the article says, traumatized by the painful experience of rape, Amina decided to end her life by consuming rat poison in the house of her husband's family. I take a few issues with that. First of all, it wasn't the rape that traumatized her into committing suicide, because she'd lived with that for a year. What traumatized her to the point of committing suicide was being forced into a domestic situation, a permanent domestic situation, with the man who raped her. And by the way, don't call him her fucking husband. She had no fucking choice in the matter. She was sentenced to marriage. That is not a real marriage when you're told that you're going to marry somebody. I know that that probably upsets a lot of people in the world with arranged marriages, but so fucking be it. It's not a marriage unless you choose it for yourself. If someone else chooses it for you, it's basically just subjugation. That's all it is. It's a form of fucking slavery. It's soft slavery. And in the case of a girl being married off to her rapist, it just is outright fucking slavery. And this is from Morocco, a supposedly modernized Muslim nation. You know, this notion that rape victims should be forced to marry their rapist is pretty archaic. You can find it in the Bible. I don't think there's anything outright condoning that in the Quran, but nevertheless, it is part of that culture. And, you know, it actually is quite progressive of Morocco that they just made her marry him, because in a lot of Muslim countries, they would have just killed her for not screaming loud enough and allowing herself to be defiled by her rapist. So I guess she's lucky she wasn't killed by the state, even if, hey, it amounted to the same thing in the end, right? Meanwhile, in Mexico, transgender activist Agnes Torres found dead in Puebla, Mexico. The coroner reported that Agnes Torres Sulca, 28, had her neck slashed and her body showed burn marks indicating she had been tortured, according to Mexico news site procesco.com.mx. It is presumed to have been a hate crime, the website reported. I don't understand this at all. You know, I was once someone that really didn't understand what transgender was all about. I made fun of them and I mocked them, and it's probably one of the things I've done in my life that I feel the most disgusted with myself about, once I actually realized who these people were and how they felt. But I never in a million years could see myself, even at my most ignorant, harming another person over this. And not just harming them, but just brutally torturing and murdering them simply for being different than me. And then, in America, black teenager killed by white man on February 26th. No charges have been filed. Trayvon Martin, an unarmed African-American teenager, was shot and killed in a gated community in Florida late last month by a white neighborhood watch captain, according to police. But the watch captain, George Zimmerman, a 28-year-old college student who has admitted to police that he shot the young man, still walks free, and Martin's family is pleading for answers and demanding justice. At this point, there are more questions than answers in the young man's death, but this much is known. Martin was packing little more than a bag of candy and a canned iced tea on the night he was killed. So basically, George Zimmerman was a white guy with a gun patrolling the neighborhood, and Trayvon Martin was a black teenager walking home with Skittles in his pocket for his younger brother and an iced tea for himself. And George Zimmerman shot Trayvon Martin, and George Zimmerman is free to go. I mean, he claims self-defense. What? Self-defense against what? Was Trayvon gonna throw the tea at him? Was he gonna open the pack of Skittles and fling them one by one at George Zimmerman? Is George Zimmerman allergic to Skittles? Deathly allergic? Is he gonna fucking die if the Skittles touch him? How is there any case for self-defense here? I mean, basically, what the police are saying by not filing charges, by not arresting George Zimmerman, is, well, you know, the kid should have known better than to be black in a gated community in fucking racist-ass Florida. You know, I'm 27 years old, and in 10 years, I'm going to be 37 years old. And if I die of a heart attack at 37, it will be my fault. Because I didn't eat right, and I didn't exercise, and I knew the risks, and I took them. But for Amina and Agnes and Trayvon, they didn't die because they were stupid. They didn't die because of anything they did wrong. They died because the world is a piece of shit. They died because humanity, as a collective, can't get its fucking shit together. I mean, let's fucking recap here. We've landed on the moon. I know there's some conspiracy theories like, no we didn't. Okay, fine, fine. Even just pretending the moon landing didn't happen, even though it fucking did. What about this? What about this thing? Well, you know what this is? You say, oh, it's an iPhone, it's a pretentious faggy, blah, blah, blah. No, this is information I can carry around. Entire libraries of information in my fucking pocket! We can create and maintain trade networks large enough to feed billions of people, to enrich billions of people with goods and services that would have blown the minds of people living 200 fucking years ago. We have mapped our genome. We've unraveled the riddles of biodiversity. We know what stars are made of. We have split the fucking atom. And yet, we're still shooting black teenagers. We're still slashing the throats of people who challenge our preconceptions about gender. We're still forcing teenage girls to marry their rapists. Something is wrong, folks. Something is very fucking wrong. And the older I get, the more aware of it I become.